Hello friends, welcome to the YouTube channel of Gradeup. I am Gourav Gupta and today I'll be taking this lecture. Now I'll start this lecture just by with a small round of introduction. Okay, so like I said, my name is Gourav Gupta and I'm teaching in this profession since last 14 years. Now in these 14 years, I have taught in various institutes like Time Education for 4 years, Career Launcher, I was regional manager there for 3.5 years. I've also taught in Endeavor Careers for 4.5 years. And lastly, I have taught in IMS learnings. I was a chief mentor in Delhi. Okay, now I welcome all of you to this first session of mine on YouTube. Now, in these sessions, basically these sessions are meant to increase your quant score in CAT and various other entrance examinations which you will be appearing this year or probably the next year. All right. Now, these sessions will focus on basically understanding the most important concepts that you will come across in QA section. Okay. Now, generally what happens is we tend to ignore, we tend to neglect, or we tend to cram some of the concepts uh, for which we should be knowing about their applications. Now, why I should be knowing about the application of these concepts? Because CAT is not mathematics. CAT is not about mathematics. CAT is about aptitude. Okay. So you will not find direct questions in CAT, but you will find questions which will also ask you for the application of different concepts that you have learned. Okay, so my funda is no need to cram the concepts. It's better to go behind the fundamentals of all these concepts. Okay, so now in these small sessions of mine, I'll be taking one concept at a time in one class and will be telling you the basics of all these concepts as well as the applications. All right, so initially I'll be explaining you the concept in any lecture and I'll take up some of the important questions which will make you understand the application of those concepts and the formulas. All right. Now, this series of sessions will start with the sessions on numbers. So numbers, as you all know, it is one of the most important concepts in CAT. Okay. So numbers, you will find direct questions. Also, you'll find a lot of indirect questions on numbers. Numbers will help you in doing good in other areas as well. All right. So we'll start with numbers, and I'll take up the topics like factors and multiples, LCM, HCF, unit digit, factorials. So these topics I'll be taking one by one in each of these sessions. After numbers, we'll switch over to percentages. Again, a very important concept. Percentages will be helpful in quant as well as in the section of data interpretation. All right. Now, after percentages, we'll be switching on to equations where I'll be telling you the concepts behind linear equations in 2 variables, in 3 variables. Uh, we'll be talking about quadratic equations as well as some special equations. Okay, so friends, let's start this session of factors and multiples. Okay, now before I start, I'll just quickly show you the entire schedule of these YouTube sessions which we run on the Gradeup channel. Okay, so this is the entire schedule. So you may quickly take a snapshot of this if in case you want to. So this is the schedule that we run during the entire week. All right. Okay. So friends, you may subscribe the channel in case you want regular notifications. If you don't want to miss anything, do subscribe our channel. All right. Okay. Now let's start with this concept. Let's start with this. Now to begin with, since I talked about the factors, so let's talk about how to calculate the number of factors of a number. Now, before looking at this thing, we should be knowing what actually a factor is. So let's say if I take any natural number, let's say 10. Now the numbers which are less than or equal to 10 and will completely divide 10 will be the factors of 10. So if I'll start from 1, so 1 will completely divide every number, so no need to check for that. 10 is divisible by 2. 10 is not divisible by 3, not by 4, it is divisible by 5, and also every number is divisible by itself. So 10 is divisible by 10. So I can say that 10 has 4 factors. So number of factors of 10 will be 4. Okay. Now likewise, if I'll write any other number, so there is a certain limit up to which you can write all the factors of a number manually. Okay. But this is not the way we should be calculating the number of factors. So let's look at the logic behind how to calculate the number of factors if in case you have a bigger number. Okay. So for example, I'll take the number as 200. Okay. Now the first step to calculate the number of factors of any number, the first step is do the prime factorization of the number. Now, what is prime factorization? So let's see what is prime factorization. So you must have done this thing when you were a kid, when you were in 7th, 8th or 9th standard. So 200, I'll divide 200 by the prime numbers. So first of all, 200 is divisible by 2, I'll get 100. Then divided by 2, again I'll get 50. Again divided by 2, I'll get 25. Divided by 5, I'll get 5. So we'll keep on dividing this number by the prime numbers till we'll get 1 ultimately. Okay. So 200 is composed of 2 cube and 5 square. Okay. So this is what we call prime factorization. Okay. So remember this word for the subsequent classes, for the next classes, prime factorization. So what I've done is I've written 200 as the product of prime factors. So this is the first step towards calculating the number of factors of any number. All right. Okay. So I have written 200 as 2 cube multiplied by 5 square. Now, if I tell you the direct formula, then you will not be able to solve the questions that will come on the application of this formula. Okay. So I refrain from telling the direct formula to my students. So let us understand what will be the formula and what will be the logic behind that formula. Okay. Now we want to calculate the total number of factors of 200. Okay. Now number of factors of 200 or the factors of 200 will include those numbers which will completely divide 200. All right. Now in 200, the highest power of 2 that I will have is 3. Now in any factor of 200, it may happen that I will have 0 power of 2 present. That means 2 is not at all there in that factor. I may use a single power of 2. I may use a square power of 2, or I may use the cubic power of 2. Since the highest power of 2 available is 3, so 2 can be used in 4 different ways. 2 raised to the power 0, 2 raised to the power 1, 2 raised to the power 2, and 2 raised to the power 3. So I can say that in all, any power of 2 can be used in 4 possible ways. Now likewise, if I talk about the powers of 5, 5 raised to power 0, 5 raised to power 1, and 5 raised to the power 2. So 5 can be used in 3 different ways. Okay. Now to obtain different factors of 200, what I'll do is I'll look at all the possible combinations in which I can take the powers of 2 and the powers of 5. All right. So if I'll try to make the combinations manually, so 2 raised to power 0 can be used with 5 raised to power 0, 5 raised to power 1, 5 raised to power 2, and there is no 5 raised to power 3 present. So I'll quickly erase this part. So 2 raised to power 0 can be used with either 5 raised to power 1, 5 raised to power 2, or 5 raised to power 0. Similarly, 2 raised to power 1 on the left hand side, it can be used again in 3 ways, which will generate 3 more factors, and so on. So this is basically a fundamental principle of counting you must have studied in permutation combination. Okay. So I can say that the total number of factors will be the product of these two, and that will be equal to 12. So I can simply say that the number of factors of 200 is equal to 12. All right, friends, am I clear? Now I'll take one more example in order to clarify this particular thing. So let's say I'll give you a number with prime factorized form. Okay, so let's say there is a number n. So look at the right hand side of your screen. So let's say there is a number n, which after prime factorization can be written as 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 3 raised to the power 2 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 6. Okay. Now, if I want to find out the number of factors of this number, then what will be the number of factors? So I'll give you a few seconds. Quickly calculate your answer and post your answer in the comment box. Come on, quickly post your answer in the comment box. Okay, so Raj, you are telling me that sir ये वाला step समझ नहीं आया. So Raj, can you tell me which step? Okay, so Raj, this step you're talking about 4 into 3. So Raj, what we have seen is power of 2 can be used in 4 different ways, starting from 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 1, 2 raised power 2 and 2 raised power 3. So 2 can be used in 4 ways and 5 can be used in 3 ways. Okay, now to make all possible combinations, we will multiply these two. So 4 multiplied by 3, that is 12, will be the number of factors of this number. Am I clear, Raj? Yes or no? So friends, if you don't understand anything, you may post it in the comment box and I'll elaborate. I'll tell you, I'll repeat that concept again. Okay? All right. So now number of factors of the number that I have written on the right hand side. Now here I can say that 2 can be used in how many ways? Come on, 2 can be used in how many ways? So number of ways of using 2. So first of all, 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 1, 2 raised power 2 and 2 raised to the power 3. Okay, so powers of 2 can be used in 4 ways. Similarly, powers of 3 can be used in how many ways? 3 raised power 0, 3 raised power 1 and 3 raised power 2. So they can be used in 3 ways, and the powers of 5 can be used in 5 raised power 0, starting from that up till 5 raised power 6. There will be 7 ways. So 4 into 3 into 7. So 4 into 3 is 12. 12 into 7 is 84. So the total number of factors of this number will be equal to 84. All right. Am I clear? Yes or no? So guys, give me a thumbs up if you have understood how to calculate the number of factors of any number. Come on. All right. Great. Great. Wonderful. So now let's talk about the formula. So if we'll generalize this particular thing, the power of 2 was 3 and here I have written 4. The power of 3 was 2. I have written 3. And the power of 5 was 6 and I have written 7. So basically what we are doing, we are adding 1 to each of these powers and multiplying the resultant numbers. Okay, I'll repeat. What we are doing is we are just adding 1 to each of these powers. Okay, and then we'll multiply the resulting numbers. All right. Okay. So Raj and Manoj have given thumbs up. Great. So you have understood this. Wonderful. Okay. Now I'll give you one more example. So let's say if the number is 3 raised to the power 2 into 5 raised to the power 3 into 7 raised to the power 4. So I can quickly say that the number of factors of this number will be. So just add 1 to each of these powers. So 2 plus 1 multiplied by 3 plus 1 multiplied by 4 plus 1. So it will be equal to 3 into 4 into 5. So 4 into 3 is 12. 12 into 5 is 60. So 60 will be the number of factors of this number. All right. Okay. So let's generalize this formula. So I'll go to the next slide and we'll generalize this formula. Okay. So let's say if a number can be written as P1 raised to the power A multiplied by P2 raised to the power B multiplied by P3 raised to the power C. Okay. If a number can be written like this and so on, where P1, P2 and P3 are prime numbers. Okay. P1, P2, P3, obviously they are in the bases. So the number n is converted in its prime factorized form. So obviously the bases will be the prime numbers and A, B and C are their powers. Okay. So the number of factors of this number can be written as A plus 1 multiplied by B plus 1 multiplied by C plus 1 and so on. Okay. So this is what I can generalize about this formula. All right. Am I clear? So if you have understood this particular thing, again, give me a thumbs up. If you're liking this, please like, subscribe this channel. Come on. Okay, so anything you want to write in the comments? Okay, wonderful. Now, let's move ahead and look at one of the properties related to finding the number of factors. One of the property. Okay. Now, I'll pick any random number. Let's say 80. Okay, I have picked 80. All right, and I'll quickly write all the factors of 80. Okay, it will not take a lot of time. I'll quickly write all the factors of 80 starting from 1. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 is not the factor, 7 is not the factor, 8, then 9 is not the factor, 10 is the factor. All right, then after 10, 11 is not the factor, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is the factor, then 20 is the factor, then after 20 it will be 40 and then 80. So these are all the factors of 80. All right. Okay. Now don't look at the statement of the property that I have written up there. I'll explain you properly. Okay. Now I have written all the factors of 80. Now I'll calculate the approximate value of under root 80. Now why I'm saying approximate value of under root 80? Because 80 is not a perfect square. So I'll have to calculate the approximate value of under root 80. So can anyone tell me the approximate value of under root 80? Will it be 4 point something, 5 point something, 6 point something, 7 point something? Tell me what will be this value? Come on. So anyone in the comments? So what will be the approximate value of under root 80? Okay, I'm waiting. All right, good. So approximate value of under root 80 will be 8 point something, and I'm writing 8.9. Okay, so approximate value of under root 80. Good, Tanvi, Kalavati, good. Okay, so under root 80 will be 8 point something. So 8.9 will be the approximate value of under root 80. Now this property tells us that the number of factors of 80, which are less than under root 80 will be equal to the number of factors of the same number which are greater than under root 80. Okay, now 8.9, so smaller than 8.9, what all factors do I have? These are the 5 factors which are smaller than 8.9, and these are the remaining 5 factors which are greater than 8.9. So this will happen for every number, that the number of factors of the number which are less than under root n will be equal to the number of factors which are more than under root n. Okay, so they are equally divided. So basically it is divided in 2 parts. All right, so less than under root n and more than under root n, the number of factors are always equal. Okay, also one more thing that you can note down. If you will look at all the factors of this number one by one, so I'm erasing some text from the screen. Okay, so if you look at all these factors starting from the beginning and the end one by one. Okay, so let's say look at the first and the last factor. The product of 1 and 80 is the number itself. Similarly, the second factor and the second last factor, 2 multiplied by 40 is again 80. 4 multiplied by 20, so 4 multiplied by 20, again it is 80. 5 multiplied by 16, it is 80. And the middle 2 factors, 8 multiplied by 10, it is also equal to 80. All right. So this will happen for every number. This is not a magic. This will happen for every number. Okay. So I can say that the product of the first and the last factor will result in the number. Second and second last factor will result in the number. The product of the factors which are equidistant from the beginning and the end will always result in the number. All right. Am I clear? Yes or no? All right. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you. Anuj says your teaching method is amazing. Thank you, Anuj, if you're liking this. All right. So let's continue. So this is one property that is going to help you with the next formula. Okay. Now, next formula is completely based on this. So let's move on to the next formula. All right. Now, which will ask you to calculate the number of ways of writing a number as the product of two factors. Okay. So let's say I'll again take a number as an example. So let's say the number is 20. And if I'll write all the factors of 20, so these are all the factors of 20. All right. Now, number of ways of writing 20 as the product of two factors. Okay. So I can write 20 as 1 into 20, first factor and the last factor, then 2 into 10 and 4 into 5. So I can see that there are a total of 3 ways. Okay, in which I can write 20 as the product of two numbers. Okay, now how did I get these 3 ways? So this is just the application of one of the things that we have seen earlier. So I have multiplied first and last factor, second and second last factor, third and third last factor. Okay. So if the number of factors is 6, then number of ways of writing this particular number as the product of two factors will be 6 divided by 2, that is 3 ways. All right. So the number of ways of writing a number as the product of two factors will be equal to, so number of ways, I can generalize the formula. It will be equal to number of factors divided by 2. All right. It will be number of factors divided by 2. All right. Am I clear? Okay. Now, is there any question that pops up in your mind looking at this formula? Come on. Come on, tell me. Is there anything that you want to ask right now based on this formula? So what I've calculated earlier was number of factors of any number. So we have seen one of the formulas. Now, using the property of the factors, what I have done now is I've calculated number of ways of writing a number as the product of two factors. Okay. So now nobody is asking any question. I have one question. Now here the number of factors, this value is an even number. Okay, this value is an even number. So to calculate number of ways, I have just divided this number by 2 and I've got the answer. Okay, so number of ways is number of factors divided by 2. All right, so number of ways is number of factors divided by 2. So Tanvi is asking one thing. What if we have odd number of factors? Okay, Krishnakant is also asking the same thing. Okay, if number is not divisible by 2, so Krishnakant, it will happen when the number of factors is odd. Okay, so now let's understand in what scenario the number of factors will be odd. Okay, so I'll change the slide and will tell you one thing when the number of factors will be odd. Okay, now for a number which is a perfect square, so if a number is a perfect square, like I'll take a very small perfect square, 16. So 16 is a perfect square. The factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. Okay, so in this case the number of factors will be an odd number. Okay, so for a perfect square, number of factors, the value of f will be an odd number. All right, so you may keep this particular thing in your mind. So when a number is a perfect square, the number of factors will be odd. Okay, now if I start pairing up, so first and last 1 into 16 will result in the number, second and second last 2 into 8, and जो अकेला factor बीच में बचा हुआ है 4, so 4 into 4, since 16 is a perfect square, so 16 is obtained by multiplying 4 by itself. Okay, so 4 into 4 is 16. All right, so in this case, the formula that we have seen for finding number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors, the earlier screen, the formula was f by 2, it will not work. So the formula here will be number of factors plus 1 divided by 2. So this particular formula will be applicable when the given number is a perfect square. Okay, so number of ways here will be number of factors, which is 5 in this case, plus 1 divided by 2, and this will be equal to 3. Okay, am I clear? So yes, Raj, 5 was not divisible by 2, so that is why we have done this thing. Okay, Raj? So 16 was a perfect square. The number of factors will be an odd number. All right. So the number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors, the formula will be f plus 1 divided by 2, where f is the number of factors. Okay. So we have divided this particular formula in two parts. So one formula was f by 2. This is applicable when n is a non-perfect square. All right. Now the another formula when n is a perfect square. So this formula will be applicable number of factors plus 1 divided by 2, because whenever n is a perfect square, the number of factors will be an odd number. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to the next formula. So this is the formula that we have used to calculate the number of ways in which a number can be written as the product of two numbers. Okay. All right. Let's move ahead and look at the next formula. The next formula is number of ways of writing a number as the product of two co-prime factors. Now I have used another term, co-prime. So what do you understand by co-prime numbers? So I'll explain quickly this term. Now co-prime or relative prime. Now this particular term is used to compare more than one numbers. Okay, so let's say two numbers are given to you. So I'll take two numbers quickly. So let's say 16 and 18. Okay, these are the two numbers. Now do these numbers 16 and 18, do they have any common factor among them? Yes, they do have a common factor. The common factor is 2. Okay, so I can say that these two numbers 16 and 18, they are not co-prime with respect to each other. So the definition of co-prime numbers is two numbers are said to be co-prime with respect to each other if they don't have any common factor except one. One will be the common factor among any two numbers. All right. Okay. All right. So Raj, one खुद से assume नहीं करना. One was there in the formula. Okay. So that was the formula for that. Okay. So you are asking this. So this is the formula that you can note. Okay. Because 4 के साथ 4 apply हो रहा है. So that is why I have just written plus 1. All right, Raj. So this is the formula that we'll have to use. Okay. Coming back to this co-primes. So I'll repeat the definition of co-primes. Two numbers are said to be co-prime with respect to each other if they don't have any common factor except one, because one will be the common factor among any two numbers. Okay, so if I take an example, let's say 15 and 22. Okay, Now among 15 and 22 you cannot find any common factor. हम कुछ भी common नहीं ले सकते इन दोनों numbers में से except one. Okay, so if nothing can be taken common among two numbers, then these two numbers are said to be co-prime with respect to each other. Okay, so I can say that 15 and 22 are definitely co-prime with respect to each other. All right, now the extension of previous formula. In the previous formula we have seen the total number of ways of writing a number as the product of two factors. Now this formula will talk about specifically number of ways of writing a number as the product of two factors which are co-prime with respect to each other. Okay, अब ये दोनों जो factors हैं ये आपस में co-prime होने चाहिए. Okay, so again I'll start with an example. Okay, and then I'll elaborate. So दोबारा से 80 example ले लेते हैं. So 80 can be written as 1 into 80, 2 into 40. So I'm writing all the possible ways of writing 80. ठीक है? So 1 into 80, 2 into 40, 4 into 20, 5 into 16, and finally 8 into 10. So in total there are 5 ways of writing 80 as the product of two factors. Okay, now among these ways let us select all the ways in which the two numbers are co-prime with respect to each other. Okay, fine. Now Raj, I have just explained co-primes and relative primes. So these are same terms. Co-primes and relative primes, they are one and the same thing. Okay Raj? Okay, now I have written all the ways of writing, the total number of ways of writing 80 as the product of two numbers. Now I'll check all these ways one by one, each of these ways one by one, and we'll check if the two numbers are co-prime with respect to each other or not. So 1 and 80, first of all. So 1 and 80, they don't have any common factor except 1, right? So 1 and 80, this will be considered. So 1 and 80, yes, they are co-prime with respect to each other. Now checking 2 and 40. So 2 and 40, they have 2 among them as the common factor. Okay, so 2 and 40 में common factor क्या है? 2 है. So 2 and 40 are not co-prime with respect to each other. So I'll cancel this way. 4 and 20, again इसमें 2 common ले सकते हो आप. You can take 2 common among 4 and 20. So I'll cancel this way because 4 and 20 are not co-prime with respect to each other. Now 5 and 16. So 5 and 16, are they co-prime with respect to each other? Come on, 5 and 60, yes or no? So do you have any common factor among 5 and 16? No, there is no common factor among 5 and 16. So I can say that 5 and 16, since they don't have any common factor between them, so they are co-prime with respect to each other. Okay, 5 and 16 में कोई भी common factor नहीं है. Again, last 8 and 10. So 8 and 10, they do have a common factor of 2. Okay, so 8 and 10 में 2 का common factor आ सकता है. So 8 and 10 are not co-prime with respect to each other. Okay, so basically which ways we have selected? So we have selected this one as well as this one. So number of ways of writing 80 as the product of two co-primes. How many ways? There are 2 ways of writing 80 as the product of two co-prime numbers. Alright. Now please remember this formula because this formula will help you in tomorrow's class. So tomorrow we are going to do LCM HCF and the applications of that. So this particular formula will help you in tomorrow's lecture. Alright. Okay. Now we have covered 3 formulas. Now it will take you some time to digest, to understand and to apply this formula. Okay, so it is suggested to all of you that as soon as this lecture is over, go back to the recording of this lecture. आराम से उसको pause कर करके देखो, एक एक concept understand करो, and then you'll be able to understand the application of this formula. All right. Okay. So these are the 3 formulas. Okay. Now, lastly, I'll tell you how to calculate this particular thing quickly. Obviously, we'll not write all these ways again and again. Okay. So let's look at the final formula to calculate number of ways of writing a number as the product of two co-prime factors. Okay. So again, I'll consider 80. Write 80 in terms of prime factorization, which we have already done. 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 5 square. Okay. Now the formula for finding the number of ways of writing this number as the product of two co-primes, I'll write it as WC. Okay. The formula is 2 raised to the power small n minus 1. Now where small n is number of prime factors of this number. Number of prime factors of capital N. Okay. अब ये क्या चीज है? Prime factors. So basically it is the number of bases here. So 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 2. So यहाँ पे bases कितने हैं? दो bases हैं यहाँ पे 2 and 5. So small n का value यहाँ पे 2 हो जाएगा. Okay. So it will be equal to 2 raised to the power 2 minus 1. That is 2 raised to the power 1. That is 2. So there are two ways which we have calculated. Okay, just to make clear, just to make this formula clear, I'll take one more example. Okay, so let's say if the number is 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 7 raised to the power 2 multiplied by 11 raised to the power 1. Okay, now here number of ways of writing this number as the product of two co-primes, that is 2 raised to the power n minus 1. In this case, the value of n will be 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 bases in this case. So the value of small n will be equal to 4. Just feed this value here, 2 raised to the power 4 minus 1. That is 2 raised to the power 3, which will be equal to 8. So there will be 8 ways of writing this number as the product of two factors which are co-prime with respect to each other. All right. Am I clear? Okay, great. So this is the formula. Now let's look at some of the questions. Okay. So now friends, all of you be ready with some set of questions. So I'm just writing a number n and we'll quickly apply the three formulas that we have just learned. Okay. So let's say n is 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 3 raised to the power 6 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 7. Okay, so let's say this is the number that is given to you. Okay, now first thing, give me the number of factors of this number quickly. So write it in the comment section. I want the number of factors of this number. Okay, so take your time, just give me the number of factors. I'm waiting for your comments. Quickly post it. So very simple thing. All right. So number of factors of this number, like we have seen. So I've got a response from Raj. Good. So number of factors will be, just consider the powers and add 1 to every power. So 4 plus 1 multiplied by 6 plus 1 multiplied by 7 plus 1. So that is 5 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 8. Okay. So answer will come out to be 280. So the number of factors of this number will be equal to 280. All right. Now the second formula. Number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors. Number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors. Quickly write your answer. All right. So the number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors will be number of factors divided by 2, right? So number of factors divided by 2, that is 280 divided by 2, and my answer will be 140. All right. Now the third thing, number of ways of writing this number as the product of two factors which are co-prime with respect to each other. You may write it as the answer. Good, Tanvi, Kalavati, Raj, wonderful. So all three of you are responding to each and every query. Good. All right. So now this will be 2 raised to the power small n minus 1. In this case, the value of small n will be 1, 2, 3. So the value of small n will be 3. So answer will be 2 raised to the power 3 minus 1. That is 2 raised to the power 2. And the answer will be equal to 4. So number of ways of writing this number as the product of two co-prime factors will be equal to 4. All right, friends. Okay. Now let's look at some more interesting things related to this concept that I have just taught you. So I'll take this number once again. So my number was 2 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 3 raised to the power 6 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 7. Now this was my number. Okay. Now how did we obtain the formula for number of factors? We have seen that n can be used in 5 ways. 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 1, and so on up till 2 raised to the power 4. Similarly, 3 can be used in 7 ways, starting from 3 raised power 0 up till 3 raised to the power 6. And 5 can be used in 8 ways, starting from 5 raised power 0 up till 5 raised to the power 7. So this is the concept that we have seen earlier at the beginning of this lecture. Okay. Now let's look, or let's move towards some of the difficult questions that have appeared in CAT as well. Now the total number of factors of this number, we can easily write it is 5 into 7 into 8. That is 280. Now the question comes that out of whatever factors that this number has, the total factors are 280. Out of these 280 factors, there will be some factors which are even and there will be some factors which are odd. Okay, fine. So there will be some factors which are even and there will be some factors which are odd. So we'll have to just segregate कि यहाँ पे even number of factors कितने हैं and odd number of factors कितने हैं. Now first thing, to calculate the factors which are even, I'll just quickly tell you the direct way. Now what is an even number? An even number is a number which is a multiple of 2. Okay, so that means in an even number, at least one power of 2 should be present. Okay, I'll repeat. Even number, since it is a multiple of 2, so even number में 2 का कम से कम एक power present होना चाहिए. Okay, so 2 की powers available कौन कौन सी हैं? Which all powers of 2 are available? 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 1, 2 raised power 2, 2 raised power 3 and 2 raised power 4. So these are the powers of 2 which are available, out of which my number should have at least one power of 2. So in the factors which should be even, the power of 2 which can be used are 2 raised to the power 1, 2 raised to the power 2, 2 raised to the power 3 and 2 raised to the power 4. I cannot use 2 raised to the power 0. Okay, so 2 can be used in how many ways? 4 ways. So I'll write 4 here multiplied by, now अब 2 अगर एक minimum 2 present है, so 3 कितने भी present हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many 3s do we have. So I'll consider all the possible ways of using 3. So 3 can be used in a total of 7 ways and 5 can be used in a total of 8 ways. Okay, so what I've done is I've just ensured that I have minimum 1 power of 2 present. Okay, so 4 into 7 into 8, this will be the number of factors of the number which are even. Okay, So 32 into 7, 210 and 16, 226 will be the factors of this number which are even. Alright. Now let's move towards the second question. The number of factors which are odd. Okay. अब जो भी factors odd होंगे वो देखते हैं. So odd means an odd number is not divisible by 2. So that means 2 का कोई भी power present नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay. 2 का कोई भी power present नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, I'm sorry, it should be 224. Yes. So odd number में 2 का कोई भी power present नहीं होना चाहिए. So that means 0th power of 2 will be considered. So 2 can be used in only one way. 2 raised to the power 0. 2 raised power 1 cannot be used. 2 raised power 2 cannot be used. 2 raised power 3 cannot be used. And 2 raised power 4 cannot be used. Okay. So 2 can be used in one way only, which is 2 raised power 0. Or I'm saying that I'm not using any power of 2. For 3, you can use it in any number of ways. And for 5, you can again use it in any number of ways. So 1 into 7 into 8, that is 56, will be the number of factors of this number which are odd in nature. Okay, am I clear? All right. Okay, now let's move to some more questions and then we'll stop for the day. Okay, so same number I'm considering. So 2 raised power 4 into 3 raised power 6 into 5 raised to the power 7. अब क्वेश्चन आता है, find all the factors of this number, find all the factors of this number which are perfect squares. Okay, now previously we have calculated all the factors of this number which were even or odd. Now we'll look at all the factors of this number which are perfect squares. Okay, now perfect square एक number होता है जिसमें all the powers should be even. So all the powers here should be even. Okay, am I clear? So a perfect square, when converted in its prime factorized form, all the powers should be even. So जितने भी prime numbers हैं उन सबकी सिर्फ even powers consider करनी है, odd powers consider नहीं करनी है. Okay, now if I look at 2 raised to the power 4, the powers of 2. So 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 1, 2 raised power 2, 2 raised power 3 and 2 raised power 4. These are different ways in which 2 can be used. But since I need all the factors which are perfect squares, so I'll be considering the powers of 2 where it is even. So 2 raised power 0, 2 raised to the power 2 and 2 raised to the power 4. So 2 can be used only in these three ways. Okay, so number of ways of using 2 is equal to 3. All right, I'll explain you this thing once again. So why I'm doing this thing? I need the factors which are perfect square. अब ये चीज हमें समझ में आनी चाहिए कि perfect square को अगर हम prime factorize करेंगे, if we'll do the prime factorization of a perfect square, then all the resulting powers of prime numbers will be even. जितनी भी powers होंगी वो सारी even होंगी. Okay, so that is why I'm just considering those numbers which have even powers. Okay, so 2 raised power 0, 2 raised power 2 and 2 raised power 4, 2 can be used in only these three ways. Similarly for 3 raised power 6, I just write all the powers of 3 which can be used. So 3 raised power 0 can be used, 3 raised power 2, 3 raised power 4 and 3 raised power 6. So 3 can be used in how many ways? 4 ways. Similarly for 5 raised to the power 7. So 0th power, 5 raised power 0, 5 raised power 2, 5 raised power 4 and 5 raised power 6. So again 5 can be used in 4 ways. Alright, so 3 into 4 into 4. This will be all the factors of this number which are perfect square. Okay, so 3 into 4 is 12, 12 into 4 is 48. So there will be 48 factors. Okay, there will be 48 factors of this number which are perfect square. Okay, Now Shiva is asking, sir, how important is number system for CAT? Now Shiva, number system, I can say that it is equally important as compared to the other chapters, okay, because there is no specific weightage of any of the areas or any of the topics in CAT. Also, number system is one such chapter from which you will find a lot of indirect questions. So this particular thing will be used in other cases as well. Like number system ka concept, you will also use in equations, in permutation combination at a lot of places. Okay. So if I'll talk about standalone importance of number system, yes, it is important, but it is also important from other chapters point of view. All right. Okay. Great. So now friends, this is all about this lecture. I hope all of you would have enjoyed this thing. Okay. Now in case you have enjoyed this lecture and you want some regular updates to be coming from my side to all of you. So what you can do is you can just note down my number. So this is my personal number and I'm available on WhatsApp using this number. Okay. So you may send these details, your full name, your WhatsApp number, your email ID, and your target exam and year. And in case you want to receive constant updates about my upcoming sessions, I'll be sending you these updates personally. All right. So you may note down this particular thing. Now, also, if you have liked this session, so please press the like button, comment, and do share and subscribe. All right. Okay, Shivai. Yes. So, Shivai, I'll always be motivating you guys. So, if you are in direct touch with me, if you are constantly attending my lectures, then I will conduct such series of lectures again and again. Also, what you may do is in the comment section, you may post some of the topics that you want me to cover in these subsequent classes. Okay. So, I'll be covering all those topics or all those chapters which will be suggested by you. Okay. Now some of the important information just to end with. Now a very important information is, like, if you look at the description of this YouTube lecture, so you'll find one thing, that we have consolidated all the sessions which are related to MHCET and CAT 2021. Okay. That means you don't have to search for any of these sessions on YouTube or on Google. So what we have done is, let's say there are 5-6 session of numbers that we have conducted, similarly for percentages, similarly for other chapters. So what we have done is, we have made a sheet on which we have written all these topics with their YouTube links. So this will be available to all of you. So if you will click on this link, so this link is also sent to you uh, in the comment box. So you can just look at this link, okay, or you may take the snapshot of this. So this is there in the comments, okay. And if you'll click this link, this will redirect you to one of the sheets where you'll find all the consolidated topics with their YouTube links in front of them. Okay, so it will be like a complete solution to all of you, all the lectures at one place. All right. So please do this. This will help you a lot, because normally what happens is we waste a lot of time in searching for the different topics. Okay. So you can save your time. You don't have to search it anywhere else. All these things will be available to you on a single sheet. All right. Now next is these are the different batch launches by Gradeup. Okay. So this is one of the batches which was launched on 13th of August. The complete details are written in front of it. So this batch was for 2021 students. Okay. And these are the mentors who will be teaching you in that batch. Now further, CAT 22 के लिए we have launched one batch on 4th of August. Okay. The complete details are available on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, there was a batch which is specially made for the students who are targeting SNAP, NMAT, CMAT, and TestNet. Okay, so you may enroll in this particular batch. If you are not targeting CAT, but these examinations. Okay. On the left hand side, CAT 22 batch, you can enroll in this batch if you're targeting CAT 2022, the next year. Further, the different courses that we have, so related to CAT, we have different batches. So CAT 2022, this is one of the courses. Score 99 plus percentile. So if you are targeting 99 plus percentile, then you can enroll yourself in batch 3, which is a weekday batch. There is another batch which is focusing CAT 2021, which is a percentile booster course, and you can enroll yourself in batch 1. For other MBA entrance examinations, below are the two mentioned batches. Now this is the list of experts that we have. So other than me, we have these experts on our panel, and all these mentors will be mentoring you for your journey towards CAT and the other entrance examinations. Now some super subscription plans for CAT 2021 and 2022, as well as some other entrance examinations. The complete details and the validity and what all they include is mentioned on this screen. All right, friends. So that's all from my side. And please do like, subscribe, and comment. Okay. So in case you have liked the session, please tell me by liking and by pressing the subscribe button. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you for attending this session. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.